All right, guys, it's game 3 of Order and Chaos Fight Night between Tim and myself. I hope you guys have been enjoying the series so far, and we are now switching it up with an Argus versus Maxx matchup. You're playing Argus, I'm playing Maxx. And tell me about this Argus deck, Tim. Tell the people.
This Argus deck is different than your normal Argus deck. It ain't your mother's Argus deck.
Oh, yeah?
That's all I'm saying.
It's brand new already. We have a mother's Argus deck.
Well, I mean, based on what I've read, we do.
All right.
People see this identity and they say, hey, I'm going to put a high agenda density in this deck.
Yes.
So the ability triggers more times.
That seems the idea, yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want to do that.
Well, did you run into the same thing I did on the Argus train, which is, yes, I can run all one-pointers, but unlike Jinteki, I don't have a reason for those one-pointers outside of just triggering the ability.
Correct.
You know, it's like, all the Jinteki one-pointers are buying into the personal evolution archetype. They're giving you net damage, House of Knives, the full auto.
And they're doing the damage when you score them, too, which is the key difference.
Or when they are steal, which I think we found was a problem with Argus. All right, so what's different? How do you do it?
What I did is I decided to go with the absolute lowest agenda density I could. So I was running 6 agendas total. I was running Government Takeover, 3 The Cleaners, 1 High Risk Investment, and 1 Glen Station.
Whoa.
My thought process behind it was the runner is not going to see agendas super often. They aren't. It's going to give me time to find my Sea Source. It's going to give me time to find my Scorch. It's going to give me time to find my Punitive Counter-Strike.
Right.
It's just going to slow the game way down because they have to find them.
Right.
And because of that, whenever they do find them, Punitive is online because it's either a 3 or a 6-pointer.
Yes.
Maybe a 2-pointer, but that's even less likely. And I was just going to use their ability, or Argus's ability, as more of a big moment type ability rather than a quick compression type ability.
Wicked.
It's going to be, click 3, do I take the 2 meat damage here, or do I take the tag, if they already aren't tagged?
Yeah.
And if they are tagged, sweet.
Yeah, just unlocks everything.
Yeah. And a lot of people see the identity and they are like, I don't want to take damage, I'm just going to go tag me. I'm going to find my I've had worses. I'm going to go.
Yeah.
I'm just going to win because they're all running on 1 point. I'll find all the agendas real quick. No, you're not.
No, you not.
That's the plan, at least.
Absolutely.
So I'm running 3 Scorch. I'm running 3 Punitive. I'm running 3 Traffic Accident.
Nice. So it's
I'm running
serious
3 Housekeeping.
Yeah.
I'm running 3 Checkpoint. I'm not running Dedicated Response Team. I went back and forth for a long time on that decision.
It's a tough call, for sure.
With the low agenda density, I didn't want there to be trashable cards in R&D.
Correct.
Or as many. I wanted to have as little of that as possible so that it's harder for them to get through R&D and find the one agenda.
Totally fair. I think these are great thoughts. You've already got my brain spinning on my Argus deck. Well, me on the other side, I'm going to be running Maxx, and there was just one of these runners during this challenge. I wanted to just take the old Anatomy Skeleton and see if it could be updated with Eater and a couple of the Order and Chaos Wanton Destruction being a critical one to give this deck legs again. I feel like it during the meta that it was born in, it was great because it was tiny little ice. It was weird little fast decks that weren't really setting up and doing a whole lot. And now it's a little bit harder because you've got decks like Replicating Perfection and you've got Blue Sun that's coming in. And like the idea of just spamming Account Siphon and going tag me is way harder. It's just way more difficult because they've got great ice, they've got taxing stuff, and it's not as big of an impact as it used to be. So we're going to see if Anatomy 3.0 can work. So this is 3 Account Siphons. The 1 Levy, of course, is my 3 for splash because Maxx. The thinking is that Anatomy runs all the recursion anyway. Maxx wants all the recursion. Anatomy wants to be fast. Maxx is naturally fast. And Maxx is punk rock. And
the only problem I can see there is you don't really have a ton of program recursion.
Yes, correct.
Deja Vu being the only one, really.
Yep.
And so it could go badly.
Yes, you are absolutely right.
Not likely, but it's possible.
You are absolutely right. Now, I do have a couple retrieve runs in the deck, which is my kind of way of hopefully pressuring all 3 Sentinels, which is something that Anatomy wasn't great at doing, before, and now
Noise was okay at
Maxx. Noise was definitely good at it. But as far as the skeleton is concerned, it didn't have anything built into the deck itself.
Right.
So we have Maxx here, and it's pretty standard. It's, like I said, all the normal things. I did add Day Job for some extra econ. Wanton Destruction is in there, and then it's all your favorites. And I did it a little bit different. I got 3 Eaters, which I think is critical. I got a couple Knights instead of doing like the Overmind Crypsis thing. And then I've got like 1 of the Dog, 1 of Corroder, and then I do have 1 Crypsis. So I do kind of want to have the ability to slowly set up, and I wanted to be able to dump those and get them with Retrieval Run as needed.
Right.
So it's going to be kind of an Eater early game with Keyhole, and then I'm going to hopefully set up to get those last 3 points, maybe get into a surprise remote in that way. So here we have it, guys. We have Maxx facing off against Argus. There could not be a more beautifully themed match than Punk Rock Maxx stumbling into Argus security and messing around.
What you doing in the water, girl?
And trying real hard not to die, I think, is going to be the tale of this match. So join Tim and Steven in the booth. We're going to get to it and enjoy a wonderfully thrilling game of Netrunner. This is Game 3 from Order and Chaos Fight Night.
Boom.
All right, guys, we're back for Game 3 of Friday Night Fight Night between Tim Bunn and Steven Woolley. I am Steven.
And I'm Tim.
And we're in Game 3 here. Tim has been destroying me so far. 2-0 on the night so far. I can't believe it.
It happens. You know.
I was getting a little sad. And but we're taking over Maxx. This is kind of more my aggressive Anatomy Siphon playstyle. This is really just the old school Anatomy updated with Eater and a few other cards put on top of Maxx just to see how it works. You're running Argus, doing some cool things with this. Basically, going for big moments with Argus rather than little taxes.
Yep.
2 different schools of thought, and also taking the tag me approach as I was, as a lot of players are.
For sure. The point of the deck ultimately is to just do all of the meat damage.
Do all the meat damage.
I'm running only 6 agendas in the entire deck.
Yeah.
So 6 out of 49 cards. It's not a very high number, very low density. So I'm hoping for a very slow game.
Yes. And Maxx is a very fast game.
Right.
Because at a certain point, Maxx is really just running out of deck.
Right.
Some Maxx decks don't even run Levy, if you can believe it.
I can't believe it, 'cause that's a mistake.
I would consider it. I mean, I've yet to run out of cards with Maxx yet.
I've done it almost every game I've played with it. Or played a Levy.
Well, I've just got the old magic rabbit's paw.
The magic rabbit's paw. That's standard, right? For all Woolley brothers?
I hope that makes it into Netrunner at some point. It would be such an honor.
When we with World
It's just
Next,
me
you can design that card.
with some likeness, like holding this paw. Definitely be an Anarch card, without a doubt. It would go well in a deck with quest completed. Housekeeping, what a bummer. I really hate seeing this card.
I love
early.
that card.
You know why I hate seeing this card early is because I thought about putting it in my deck, and I thought, you know what, Steven, if you don't draw that early, you're not going to want to see that card. And then you make the same choices, but you say, if I see that early, it's going to be awesome. And then you see it early, and it is awesome.
It's bomb.
And so you ultimately
It's
are
a bomb
vindicated.
card is what I would say. It just wins games.
Look at you leaving HQ open.
I don't care.
Come on in, Maxx.
What are you going to do? Siphon me?
Well, at a certain point, you're like, you don't mind a little siphon here. That
No.
guarantees 2 tags, and that makes the rest of your deck function a lot smoother because it's all about the meat damage.
I would prefer not to be siphoned, but
And all these Anarchs, including myself, dropping Plasticrete completely. There's only so many I've had worse that you can have, and a lot of times you just don't have it. And then once it's out of your deck,
a lot of times you have not had worse.
you just, this is the worst I've ever had.
Searchlight. We got a reader on this one.
We got a reader. We've got a reader.
Now, I'm a fan of this card. I think it's good.
It's a very good card. It's a very good card.
1 cost piece of ice is never bad. That's not true.
And you've got, NBN's going to like this card too, you know? And Tag Storm with Manhunt right now, it's the deck that everyone's talking about and no one's building.
Because, let's be real, no one wants to play that deck.
But Psychographics really going to make that one tick, I think. And maybe Argus is all about 3 Psychographics.
Maybe? We're
And
still
government
figuring
takeover,
it out.
you know? Maybe it's 3 Psychographics, government takeover.
Mid-seasons?
And maybe Titan's all about, like... I don't know what Titan's about. I don't
Maybe it's
know
all
what
about kill.
Titan's
Maybe Titan's about kill.
Maybe Titan's about, like, hostile takeover, aggressive negotiation. No, it's not. It's not. It's about the fast track. If I were to do Argus, 3 Psychos, 3 fast track, 1 government takeover, a bunch of 1-pointers, and Psycho. I think that's a deck. I think we can do that, guys. All right, looking at HQ, seeing nothing. Well, seeing information.
Some ice.
Just information.
Ice, baby.
I really wish I used my click trackers, man.
Yeah.
I'll get there.
It's hard.
I'll get there. I just get too interested. All right, that was not the most stellar first time out of the gate for Maxx there.
I mean, you trashed the Jackson.
And no one cared. And I've got to trash something for overdrawing.
That's your first
And
mistake,
all the
Steven.
cards, see, I won them all. What is that, like a spoon or a forked? It's like a forked.
You don't want to kill that Searchlight.
You think we'll ever see like a sporked?
I would love to see a Sporked. If they came out with a Sporked, I would be so happy. So I advanced that Searchlight, which means that you're going to attack me now.
Yeah, it's basically tag me for R&D, which I think is a fair trade. I mean, what ultimately, if we imagine the game in Netrunner, let's say I get 20 tags, and then I score 7 agendas. In your head, does that signify that once those 7 agenda points are scored, like the corporation has been taken down by the public, so those tags are meaningless, like you have no power anymore, basically?
And they know where you are, but it doesn't matter because they can't do anything about it.
Nice.
Until they become a runner and take you down.
Yeah. There it is.
There's been some speculation that Jack Whalen might be a runner eventually.
Oh, goodness. Like against the competitors, basically? Like that was his inspiration.
Well, he's
for
not
running?
on the board anymore. He retired to search his own
That's right.
ventures. So
he might be checking up on Wayland from the outside.
How cool
too.
would that be?
Yeah. Or taking down like HB for financial reasons. That sounds awesome.
I would love to see a Jack Whalen runner.
I would also really love to see some of the runners in like connection form.
Oh, I would too. I've been saying that for years
You
now.
just can't run it if you have the ID.
like
It's so good.
Gabriel Santiago.
Yeah.
Connection. It's something awesome.
Yeah, something about HQ maybe. Helps you out.
First time you make successful on HQ each turn, gain a credit.
John Masanori coming out here.
Really going to tag me now.
Yeah, definitely tag me, no doubt. And we're going full tag me, hitting R&D. May as well get a card for the trouble. Hey, it's a Scorch Earth.
Boom.
Oh man, good news, Maxx. Just what you wanted to see. I'm kind of sunk right now, man. I'm feeling bad about this. I'm feeling really bad about this.
I'm feeling fine.
Yeah, you're feeling
on my
great.
side.
You don't know that Scorch is coming yet.
I don't, but I feel fine ultimately. I know that there's only 6 agendas, so it's going to be hard for you to find them. I feel like I have a lot of time left still. You just went tag me.
You've got a lot of time. I'm on no money. I've got all the tags and John. Like, that's pretty solid for you. If you want to play the long game, I can't think of a better puttery opening than the one that's happened here.
Puttery.
With housekeeping on the table, too. It's like, man, talk about a way to slow a game down.
I'm loving housekeeping. Every time I play it, it's awesome.
There's a Scorched. And I'm sitting on 5 cards.
I really want to play it, but I also don't. Because I'll be at 1 money,
Yeah.
and that's just...
I mean, that's what we're talking about this. We've been talking about this a lot, and you kind of see it in play. Just meat damage as an annoyance. It's basically like Jinteki kind of with net damage.
Yeah.
You just get cards out of hand and make them waste turns.
Mm-hmm.
You do that over and over again, and it's just like...
And I mean, like you've said before, like, it opens scoring windows.
It does.
If I Scorched Earth you down to 1 card, and then I install a card in a remote, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what do you... Draw to run it? And then it's like...
Punitive.
Boom.
Or Scorched again, because you're
Scorched,
tagged
yeah.
still.
Yeah, it's wild. Or like I don't know. You could do some weird self-destruct stuff. There's ways to make this agenda do cool things. I think we're just now wrapping our mind around what it's capable of.
It's true. And hopefully we'll see some more of it.
And we're staring at the cards here, trying to decide. I really do not feel good about my position here. If you put one more piece of ice over R&D, it's trouble. If you're running ice, that like information overload, those kinds of things, that can be super annoying. You could have closed accounts in the deck. You could have dedicated response team, which I was worried about because I have those in mind.
I'm actually not running dedicated response team.
And we're just gonna blind siphon it here.
Can't res that Hadrian's.
Oh man, that's such good timing for me. That really paid off. That was a gamble. I could have just got sunk on an ice fall there. But sometimes you gotta take some wild moves. So that helps. It's
That's
amazing how much that turns things around. Isn't
Landing
it?
1 siphon changes the world.
That's crazy. And you've got restructure in hand, don't you? Man.
Next turn I was going to hit it.
Taking my tags. And it's amazing the housekeeping, the psychology of that card, especially with me being tagged. If I install something, I really have to account for a draw to make up for it, which can either be John Mass. There's a Keyhole. I'm not trashing a dang thing from housekeeping. We do make up for it later, as I remember, though. Trash your government takeover, Tim.
Seems good. And my heart is broken.
The greatest Keyhole. Greatest Keyhole I've... Seriously, that's the greatest Keyhole I've ever had in my entire life. I swear to you that.
So far, you keyholed once and scored 6 points. So that's good.
So a turn of gaining 10 credits and scoring 6 points is a pretty good turn.
Yeah. So right here, yeah, there's nothing good happening now.
It kind of just cuts off any kind of Argus ability for the rest of the game.
Oh, no, that's true.
You're done. But I'm tagged anyway, so I'm just going to take the tags. The more and more, man, I'm thinking Argus has got to run Psycho to make use of the quantity of tags. Or something that plays off the quantity, like some of that ice. I think there's only one piece, right? That's like, it's a gain a subroutine for every tag.
Yeah, information overload.
Trash your program or something.
There's also universal connectivity fee.
Yeah, that's right. Which would help. That'd be wicked. So, gain 2 credits and advance a card?
I think that's actually an asteroid belt, not a...
that makes sense then.
So
and it's on over there?
I'm
Probably
trying,
a Jacko.
I'm trying to advance that ice so I can get it up on the cheap.
Yeah,
so, you
so
can't
like
keep
a couple
siphoning
turns
me.
from now.
Yeah.
Maybe even 1 turn from
And then
now.
I have to... I'm pretty sure that's Jackson, just in case you kill me 3 times.
It seems like something I would want to do right now.
Yeah.
I have nothing to lose, and just basically wide open RNG.
But there's only 5 cards left in my deck, or 5 agendas left in my deck, so I'm not super worried. I have 4 in hand, 2 on the table now, 1 removed.
All right, so I've got to
So there's 42 cards left in my deck.
Yep.
5 agendas. I'm okay with this, Matt.
I'll get 3 runs, trying to get a 3-pointer. I guess they're all 3-pointers. Or a couple 2s.
There's
You got
1
Atlas.
2. It's a Glen Station, actually.
You got no Atlas in the deck? Awesome. Way to break barriers, man.
If I score that Glen Station, life is good.
Yeah, government takeover is not a problem. And there you go. Okay, well. Talk about the Keyhole to your heart on this thing, man.
That's a bummer.
I had Joe throwing his, your manager throwing his mug there. Goodness sakes, man.
2 Keyholes, 9 points.
Yeah, you can't ask for better than that. So not really much of an exhibition here, guys. Sorry we didn't get into these decks too much, but sometimes those early aggressive plays yield results. And that's why we saw, I mean, Keyhole can be such a factor. You know, Medium was such a factor in Game 2. Keyhole is such a factor in this game. Let's go to our post-game report with Steven and Tim.
Back to the studio.
Back to the studio.
Yep.
We'll see you guys there. Thanks so much.
Well, man.
God, that game was so painful to watch.
I have never stolen fewer agendas for more points in my entire life of Netrunner. Man, I gotta tell you, I was wholly behind in that game. If we were just looking at tempo and just odds, I think, it's like when you're watching Hold'em, and it's like the guy goes all in on the flop or something and has about a 5%, 6% chance and hits it. And I think that's how I felt when that government takeover came up. And what does that make you think or feel about that agenda in any kind of deck?
I mean, that's the risk that is inherently built into it, and you know it built whenever you're building it. Like,
Yeah.
You can't expect that not to happen at some point.
Yes.
You just hope it doesn't happen then.
So is it too risky? Is this a way, basically, if you're, let's say, you feel a competent player of Netrunner going into a regional or worlds, do you want to give yourself the ability to maybe just randomly lose 1 or 2 games when you think like you could maybe outplay everyone without that kind of contingency?
I think that it is worth it still. It's just the variance of it. Like, that's not going to happen every game. That's probably going to happen once in a normal tournament, twice in maybe like a 7 or 8 round tournament. Mathematically, I feel. It's not going to happen like that. But the thing is, if you had only stolen that 6-pointer, I think I would have been fine.
Yeah.
I think I'm still, like, there's 5 agendas left in my deck.
And there's a lot to be said for what if Tim has the punitive?
Yeah.
Which you had plenty of chances to draw into it, and there was good odds of seeing that punitive or having it in hand.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things that,
problem.
like, it was just a perfect storm of you hit the 4 to 6% chance, like you said. And it's fine.
Without your punishment is the key,
Yes, that's the key.
And the reason that I actually like it in the way...
Like, they could have been a snare. Like, it's like, well, it was Keyhole, so it doesn't matter.
The reason I like you doing it here is because it totally shuts down this I've had worse protection strategy. You just took 6 damage. Like, there's nothing I've had worse can do for you if you punitive off that.
No.
So I do like it. Actually, right now in this meta, I think it was a strong call, and I think you just didn't see it. And then it doesn't help that the next Keyhole, which is still kind of stretching resources, sees a 3-pointer, and there it goes. So, I mean, it says a lot about Maxx's early aggression and Eater Keyhole just being such a pressure situation. But it also says a lot about, I think if we play this game about 20 times, I think I'd give you 80% to 90% of those games just with the amount of meat damages in there that I didn't know about.
Yeah.
And me going so hard tag me from the beginning.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, he's got traffic accidents, scorched, etc. the entire game. And then punitive on top of it. So I think this is just a matter of Maxx totally punk rocking her way through this game right here.
Maxx is a guitar player.
Anything else to say about this?
No, I mean, I think it was an example of what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
On any given day.
I'll tell you the one thing, man, is certainly Anarch being popular and us in this particular series seeing only Anarch has a big influence on how you view the ID in general. But what do you think about always going tag me against Argus? Is this something that people are going to do?
I've played a fair amount of games against Argus now.
Yeah.
And I have taken meat damage from the ability twice.
Okay. So you're taking tags a lot. And that's scary against Wayland, right? I mean, like, that's terrifying.
It is. And I mean, it's annoying if I'm clearing them.
It's
like, okay, it's a click and 2 credits. Fine. But it's worth it. Like, if I have good cards in my deck, which I hope I do.
Yeah.
That's why I put them
technically, that's a goal.
And I have to choose between spending 2 credits in a click or losing 2 of those cards. Generally, I'm just going to spend a click and 2 credits.
Yeah.
That's assuming I'm not okay with just being tagged.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, go.
And a lot of, like, if this is the case against Argus, is the Argus game plan then tag punishment central? Like, closed accounts, dedicated response team.
I've been thinking about psychographics.
Oh man, I've been thinking about it too. I'm so glad you said that.
And
especially you got a government takeover in your deck.
I don't know that it's right.
Yeah.
But I love it.
I'll tell you what, if you're playing against Argus and you're playing tag me, stay at what, 8? You probably want to stay at 8 tags. Don't give him the option of the 9 psycho for a government takeover.
That's how crazy it is to score that agenda. If that gets scored.
Nuts. Maybe you should be government takeover and then a bunch of 1-pointers. Like, you got to have hostiles, right? If you're going that strategy, you probably need a 2-1. And you got Atlas because you probably want to go get it with Atlas counters. That's a different deck, ladies and gentlemen. But that's game 3. We're going to go on to game 4 where I'm going to take on Argus. You're going to take on Maxx. And we're going to see if the same thing happens. Currently, I am happy that I have recovered and am now at least 1 win into this series.
Yeah.
So join us for game 4, guys. We'll catch you there.
See you.